the history of Repeaterbook. Um, well, let me start a little bit of history with me first. I grew up in LA County in Southern California, and as a Boy Scout, my dad was a leader and a couple other guys, and they decided that we should get the ham radio merit badge. And so they had a club president come in from the local club who I don't know, spent 5 or 6 weeks going through the Now You're Talking book from the ARRL. And of all the scouts, I was the only one to get my license, along with 3 or 4 other leaders, including my dad. It's kind of nice. My dad and I have sequential call signs. I have a very difficult call sign, and I'll probably never use it on HF because Kilo Delta 6 Kilo Papa Charlie, just too many letters sound the same. But I'll keep it because, like I said, my dad is one sequence behind mine. So I've been a ham since 1992. Always been into technology, and first radio I got was a Linko DJ F1T. It was a little 2 meter, 70 centimeter handheld, and I think 5 watts was considered high powered, and so that's what we got. And then we got one of those the little tiny ARRL directory, the little mini books they used to sell. And then I took that back home and programmed repeaters and started testing them. And I think that's kind of where the original seeds for Repeaterbook were dropped, because as we go through I had to line out repeaters that didn't work, which is kind of a bummer, but I want to know which ones were there, and I wrote in the margins new ones that I found. And anyway, then moved on to a Kenwood TM 733 radio that I had installed in my car. Had a mag mount antenna on the roof, and then switched out finally to a through the window mount that did pretty good for me for a long time. And that radio, if you knew that radio at all, or that series, that 700 series, it had a removable faceplate. So it was pretty popular with like Alpine and Kenwood radios back then. You could take the face off so somebody didn't steal your car stereo out of the car. And Kenwood was doing the same thing with their radios. But the contacts, sometimes when you place the faceplate back on the radio would reset and I'd lose all my memories. And so I was writing all my repeater memories down. There's only about 30 of them at the time, and then putting it on a piece of paper and putting it in the glove box in case I ever needed to reprogram the radio. And then that grew into an Excel spreadsheet, and then I had repeaters for different areas. When I went off to college, I had a college repeater list, and I had a home repeater list. And then I went to work in another state during the summer, and I had a whole nother list. And anyway, just lots and lots of finding repeaters and putting them in an Excel spreadsheet. So then I decided to keep a list of repeaters here where I settled in the Portland, Oregon area. And so I started putting in repeaters around here, and then I added Oregon, I added Washington, and I added Idaho, and I was pretty content with that. I was just going to do this little page for me when I got contacted by a ham from Alberta, Canada, who said, "Hey, I like what you're doing. I like the formatting here. Would you mind adding in Alberta, Canada, and then making it where he could edit?" And so I'd gone out to a Barnes and Noble's bookstore and bought a book called PHP for Dummies. That's the programming languages. Then I had no training in PHP, and so I started programming this website out, and then it just grew. And it took, I mean, that was probably 2002, 2003, and about 2006 is when we finally decided to make it a real website and gave it the name repeaterbook.com. So now we're 19 years into repeaterbook.com, and we have all 50 states and all 14 Canadian provinces. And about 10 years ago, there's a fellow in England who had an app. It was app only with repeaters for the rest of the world. And he contacted me and wanted to combine forces. So the app designer, the guy that does the app, is actually in England, M1HOG. And so the Repeaterbook app uses the website data, and it's published about every 2 weeks on Android and Apple. We get the question a lot. Somebody will update a repeater, and then the next day they look at the app and it's not updated. And they ask this common question as to why. And the reason why is that the Repeaterbook app is designed to work when quote unquote all else fails. So every time you update the app, it downloads the entire database into it. So if you lose Wi-Fi, you lose cellular or a connection to my server, the internet's down, whatever, hurricane comes through and cuts your ability to get on the web, this app will still work. So in airplane mode, Wi-Fi off, it will still give you the repeaters around your area or any other area you search in. So when the internet's down, the app will still work. So about every 2 weeks, we update it. So it's important to keep your the app updated so you have the most current list. A lot of people know, I think, but as you search for repeaters on Repeaterbook, you can map them. You can move them to Google Earth and take a look at them. You can export in many different export types. Anything from most of your ICOM radios to your Kenwood radios to your AC radios, even Anytones. We do GPX format for GPS devices, even for the radio oddities, Kenwoods, list goes on and on and on. So a lot of stuff going on there. So I just wanted to pause there to see, I just gave that quick history of what Repeaterbook, where it came from and what it did. Are there any, love to take any questions that anybody has at this point. Yeah, I'm going to share the screen, and anybody who has a question, stop me, and we'll do questions as we go. All right, trying to share the screen. I have this curved monitor, and so I don't know exactly how it works when I do that. Let me just shut down some extra windows here. Can you anybody tell me what you see on the screen? I don't.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a rectangular screen. It looks good.
All right.
And we're seeing Repeaterbook in the country, the
Okay.
US.
All right, I see the green rotate around there. I have this like 54-inch curved monitor, and sometimes it doesn't play well with this stuff, but it looks good. This I was going to show kind of this is the quick search. That's a real easy search, and since I just click on Florida here, and it says that there are 1,000 Florida repeaters in the database. That's a lot of repeaters. I think the only one, Texas and California might be bigger, but I think Florida has the third most ham radio repeaters. You can search by every frequency. For example, 2 meters. You just click on that, and it'll show all the 2 meter repeaters there. I've been playing in here quite a bit today and haven't done testing, so hopefully everything is working when I show you. But I do Google Maps, and this is a map here where all the 2 meter repeaters are in Florida. And
can you show us Michigan?
Yeah, let's do Michigan. Let's just do all of them. 513. Why was I thinking Florida? I apologize, guys. You're in Michigan. Oh, Google Map. Probably because I was at Hamcation.
Jet lag.
How's this? This is all the repeaters
beautiful.
in Michigan.
Yeah,
much
there
better.
you go.
There we go. And then we can click on one of these, and there's Sterling. Are you guys up in the UP, or are you down in the main area down here?
We're in southeastern Michigan, Detroit metropolitan area.
Gotcha. Here's Detroit. Okay.
The only place in the nation where Canada is south of the United States.
Wow. When I went to Hamvention, we actually flew into Detroit and then took a regional jet down to Cincinnati. So I've been there one time last year.
All right.
All right, cool. Let's see if the Google Earth one works. Was playing in that today too, making that better. I don't know if you'll see it when I drag it over because I think the window No, it won't come over because it's a different app. All right. And then the exports here, you can see there's Anytone, Chirp. And if you weren't aware, if you have the Chirp application and there's a menu option for sources, and you can choose Repeaterbook, and you can conduct your search from directly within Chirp, and it'll bring back data and input it right into the memory fields on Chirp. Or if you want to conduct a different search than what the limitations of the Chirp program will provide, you can do the search on Repeaterbook and then click Chirp. It'll download a file, and then you can import that file into Chirp. Or because it comes down as a CSV, you can open up a spreadsheet program like Excel and move the repeaters around or manipulate the data and then import it if you wanted to do that. G4HFQ, if you're not familiar with it, he's since passed on, but he wrote apps and programs that work with Yaesu to program Yaesu radios. Here's GPX for if you had like a Garmin or any other type of GPS that'll allow you to input or import data sets for GPS waypoints. And then ICOM is a fun one. Right now, we're supporting the ID31, ID52, IC705, 4100, 5100, and 9700. I can do more than that, but that's what I've got programmed up at this point. And then the repeater group list generator, if you have a 5100 or a 52, you can download the repeater group list into the radio, and it includes the GPS coordinates. And so when you use the repeater group list, it's like having Repeaterbook in your radio, because it will sort, your radio will sort the repeaters by distance from you. And so once you program in, for example, all of Michigan, that radio can do, it will give you your closest repeaters by the GPS from the radio, which is kind of a neat feature that ICOM and Kenwood both do, with the Kenwood D74 and the D75. Radio Oddity, and then RT Systems, they're one of our partners. RT Systems is just like Chirp as far as the importing. They have searches available from within the program, or you can create a custom search here with and then export it to RT Systems. And then there's still some programs that use Travel Plus. I think Kenwood still uses Travel Plus formats. We have that. If you have a Uniden scanner, you can drop repeaters into the Sentinel program, and then Yaesu, and then Radio Mobile. You can also, that old program, you can still bring that in and put waypoints, data points on the Radio Mobile. There are a variety of different ways to search. Proximity, we have proximity search and then proximity 2.0. And I'd like to retire proximity, but so many people still use it. It's, to me, feels kind of limited, but where proximity 2.0 allows you to configure the search more. If I put in Detroit, Michigan, and I say, I don't know, let's do 40 miles, and I want 2 meters, 70 centimeter, FM repeaters, I can search on that. And 69 repeaters found within 40 miles of Detroit, Michigan. And this is, it gives you the lat long, and if you put that lat long into like Google Earth, it would be the very center of Detroit. And then it will give you the frequency and the distance, and then the bands or the modes, which here is everything, because we search for FM, everything FM's coming in, plus multi-mode repeaters are coming in. And then you can click on these headers to sort. So I just clicked on sort, and it just sorted everything, by distance, or you can sort by frequency, location. And then of course you can map these, and you can export all these also. And that map's not going to work today. So You can search by multiple states if you want. So if you wanted to search for Michigan, and then it must be Ontario that's right there by you, correct?
Yes.
So you could put in here Michigan and Ontario, for example. And then since Ohio is really close, you could do that, and you could put in 2 meter, 70 centimeter FM, for example, click search. Add state parameter. Let me take out on Ontario. I know it's happening. There we go. So there's Michigan and Ohio coming back 2 meter, 70 centimeter with all of those repeaters. So I could go on and on and on with the searches. Just a little bit of news that we announced at Hamcation. The ARRL now uses Repeaterbook as its official source of data. This is the first year they're doing that. So next month in March, the paper version of the ARRL repeater directory will be available. And again, this is the first year that it'll be Repeaterbook data. So they're not using their previous company anymore. So we're really excited about that and that partnership with the ARRL.
Hey, Garrett,
Yeah.
one quick question while you got the programming on the screen. Will it download the programming to Unit and Sentinel? If you have the DMR option installed on it, will it download the DMR information also, or just the frequency?
No, it won't do talk groups, but it'll do color code. I actually have a unit in. I have the SDS 100 and a couple BCD 536s,
Yeah.
and I have the DMR, the P25, and NXDN. I think P25 comes with it, and routinely download that right into it.
All right.
Yeah. So that's how I monitor my state. And I'm on the border of Oregon and Washington, so I just put both states into Sentinel, and it works real well. So I have an actual group name for ham. And if I turn that on and hit search, you know how fast that thing is. I can hear all the activity happening in my area very quickly. Other searches you can perform, Michigan, for example. You could come in and choose the counties. So if you just had 4 or 5 counties you wanted to search, you can add the frequencies, or I'm sorry, the bands, the modes, different features. And for example, if you were just looking for areas, you could click areas and do that. If you're a 10 meter guy and you wanted to search US and Canada for how many 10 meter repeaters there are, there's 78 in North America, and here they are all listed out. You could also search by feature. So so it shows all the DMR repeaters in North America, except that's limited to 2,000. So there's more than 2,000 DMR repeaters in the US. Let's see what I wanted stats. So with this, let's see, just because it's a database, we can pull data. So we're looking here at how often repeaters are updated. You can see I got 34 pending updates today and 19 were processed. 17 new repeaters are waiting in the queue to be added. One was already added. Yesterday, we updated 13, added 2. And then right now we're tracking 36,000 repeaters, 17,000 propagation reports, and 1,500 comments. And then says we have 110,000 registered users on the website, which is growing steadily every day. Trying to remember the
Hey,
the
hey,
secret
Gary.
webpage I have to see data on repeaters. Give me just a second and I'll find it. I heard a question maybe.
Yeah, a question about the data. You said you had however many number of repeaters you just shown us in the different updates. What, and I know you touched on this before, but can you talk a little bit more? What is the source of the information? Like, what are the challenges behind
Oh yeah.
keeping up a database, this size and it constantly changing and so on? That's got to be an amazing task.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked it because I get the question a lot. Where do I get the data? So in fact, let me go into the admin area here for Michigan and see what I know about Michigan. I have to have dashboards for everything. So the data comes from multiple sources. Um, for example, Illinois, Kansas, and some other areas, Repeaterbook has a relationship directly with the Coordination Council. So Illinois, they give me a download every month, and I upload directly from them. Kansas, we are the Coordination Council or coordination website for Kansas. So if you go to the Kansas repeater coordination website, they tell you to come to Repeaterbook, and their coordinator is an admin. Same thing with North and South Nevada. Michigan, we don't have a direct relationship with MyArc. I haven't asked them for that yet. Maybe with the ARRL working with us, maybe we can broach that with MyArc. If I have that right, Michigan is MyArc the coordinating council? I can't remember.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct. And we can maybe help out with that. We we have two repeaters that we coordinate with them. And so we know those folks there.
Let me ask you this. What's the call sign for the repeaters or one repeater?
W8HP, Hazel Park, W8 Hotel Papa. And there's two. There you go. Yeah, there you go. How about that? 146.040. Wait a minute. Is that? Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, let me fix some stuff here real quick.
Sure.
Let's see. So it looks like, is this your website here? hpac.org.
That's correct. Uh-huh.
So you can kind of see how we, I don't know if that window probably doesn't show, but HPARC.
Yeah, we don't see your utility window, but we're
That's okay.
watching the regular window there. Yeah.
So when I go into admin, a repeater, this is the back admin area. And so I'm just cleaning up that real quick. And it says about a 20-mile radius on the coverage.
We don't have auto patch anymore.
No auto patch. All right, clean that up. It says you have emergency power.
Yes.
FM.
Yes.
It's got Echolink.
Yes.
IRLP.
Yes.
And got a couple nets on it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm just going to update that real quick and take a look at the refresh page. Should be a little bit cleaned up there. So it says your nodes are offline. We do check directly with Echolink and IRLP. Maybe you bring them up from time to time, but if it was connected and attached to a room, we would display that in real time. And then it says your Aries and Races affiliated also. Let's take a look at the other one. It says Beverly Hills.
That's right. Yeah.
I have the same thing here. I'm going to update this. We have a new web module, so web link module. So I'm just going to update to that. Link. Take a look at the data. You got PL in and out. Let's see.
Yeah. Technically, technically this repeater, the one in Beverly Hills, is actually W8JXU. I mean, that's the legal name for it, but we use W8HP because it's what everybody knows it by, and the two are connected together anyway. Yeah,
they're both club call signs. I think that the limitation was I forgot if it was Echolink or IRLP. One of them had a limitation of not reusing the same call sign. But
Oh,
I think that it's still the repeater identifies as W8HP, I believe.
I think you're right. You're right, Ruben. Yeah, it does.
There, we got that all updated.
It's just for Echolink, the JXU, W8HP is
Yeah.
the,
So on the Oak Park one, this little green box, I don't know if you can see that right here. Somebody added a propagation report, so I can click on that, and it was W8YZH back in 2017 using HT 6.1 miles away, and said the S meter reading on his HT was a 9.
Wow.
So that is an option you have until you can report propagation on that. So yeah,
So we have an antenna project underway, and what we want to do before we replace existing antennas, we want to take measurements around town so we can compare the old with the new. Is this a way of being able to do that using this screen for?
yeah, because the color of the green, it fades 10%, 20%, 30%, all the way up to 90% or 100% really for S9. And so with the gradient changing, you get a visual idea of the strength of the S signal. And you can select, if I do a propagation report, you can select base HT or mobile antenna and get an idea of the HT coverage and the mobile coverage. And then if you coordinated with me, what I can do is I can export out for you the data on the old antenna, and then we can clear all the data, and then you can use the new antenna, and then we could maybe even overlay it or overlay the 2 data sets and kind of see what happens.
Oh,
how does the data get to you, Gareth?
Oh, the propagation report?
Yeah.
I'm going to bring up a window, and I'm going to see if I can share that window instead. There we go. Do you see a propagation report window?
We do.
Okay. So I clicked the link on underneath the map, and this propagation report came up. So what you do is you just scroll in to wherever you are. So let's say I don't know, here, and you see the lat and the long are changing. So when you click that, it enters the lat and long. You come down, you choose the antenna type, the S meter reading, and then just click add report, and it's done. It's really quick.
Definitely, we could use that. Yeah. Well, we can set up like a grid or at main points, maybe along the highways or something, but key readings. As you can see there, the geography, the topography is much lower towards the lake, and it's ever increasing as you move west. It's uphill. Yeah, you can see the mountains there. So that's the tough part for the repeater. Once you get in, there's a ridge. You can actually see the ridge, of course, standing on the roof of the building where the repeater is. Yeah.
I'm looking for your mountains.
Is that it? Oh, that's not us.
No, I just put it
that's a random.
You're not gonna really see mountains.
Oh, gotcha.
Our mountains are, 20, 30, 50 feet high.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Mount Hood here in Oregon's 14,000. So
yeah. It's what you call a hill. We call it.
Oh, gotcha.
yeah, it's a basin. Detroit's kind of a basin.
That's right.
It goes from about 300 feet down by the lake up to 700 feet out on the northwest side. So it's kind of flat.
Yeah.
So going back here, we do have, you're asking about the data source. So we do have a Michigan admin. He's up in the UP. We do need help with Michigan, just more assistance. He's kind of hanging on, but hoping somebody else will come along. We show 498 active repeaters. We believe that 432 or 86% are on air. About 8% of them are off the air. 3 are in testing, and then about 4% of them we don't know what the status is. I think that's a pretty good percentage.
Wow.
Uh,
Yeah.
I'm just looking to see
How
recent
does that
activity.
just out of curiosity, how does that compare to Florida, for example?
Oh, yeah.
How
Let
many
me
how many did they have total? Not that this is a race, but
total on which number?
number of repeaters in Florida, let's say, on air.
Oh, yeah, 985 active, and you got 498.
All right, so we're all right, yeah. And I must say that a lot of our former Michigander operators are now residing in Florida.
Oh,
So,
well, up here at the top is a confidence rating, and this is a big deal. So we show a B confidence rating. So to get a confidence rating of a B, which is really good, we have an admin assigned to the area. About 41% of the repeaters have been reviewed in the last year. We'd like to see that higher, and that would get the number up. Review just means that someone's looked at it and let us know if anything's changed or if it's still the same. We got good numbers on the operational status. The admin there is doing a lot of work. Looks like he's done more updates than you have repeaters, so every repeater's been updated essentially once. So yeah, and then we call them repeater custodians. And if I'm looking here, you don't have one. What I want to show you on that is if you have a repeater record custodian, and we call it that because we don't want to confuse the term trustee. I'm going to bring up the share window for that. And what that does is it, you can assign somebody in the club or somebody that is maybe the repeater tech guy, and we add their call sign in, and you can add many call signs in. And if somebody makes an update to the repeater, you get an email, and it gives you more, additional privileges to be able to edit the repeater on your own without having to go through an admin. So you basically claim and get control of the repeater. Site-wide, we have about 40% of our repeaters are claimed, but it looks like you guys are sub 30. And if you wanted to, I could add a custodian in to the records now if you had a call sign of somebody that would be appropriate to be that person.
yes, we have two people actually. Our chief engineer is John AAAUU, and
Oh, doesn't have he needs an account. So that's
he needs an account. All right, we'll
Yeah,
we can take care of this offline. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well,
fine.
we will. We'll go back. We weren't aware of it. I mean, that's why. Now we know. We'll get that updated. Yeah.
Let me update that.
Yeah, I think I have an account, Joe.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Let me get back into sharing here. Let me bring that back up then, because I just wanted to show you what it does on your record, because I think it'll give you more confidence in other records. I just got to get the screen sharing. Yeah, here we go. Okay, call sign.
Oh, yeah. So
W-A-T-O-Y.
Sorry, one more time.
W-A-T-O-Y.
Is that Tango?
Oscar Yankee.
Oscar Yankee. Oh, Oscar Yankee. Right there. There we go. All right, and then you'll have the ability to add more. So now I got.
let's add. Can we add another person?
Oh,
Yeah.
yep. Let me do that. Let me go back to that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Joe, I didn't mean to jump in on you.
That's okay.
Okay, we're there.
So we'll add two more people. We'll add John AA8UU.
We tried that one. It didn't have an account.
Oh, he's got to have an account. Oh, got it. What about Mike W8VPC? Does he have an account?
Yep.
Okay. And then we'll get John's updated there. We'll get him an account and get him on this list as well.
So and I'm going to reshare this page again. Let's see.
And we can go in and do that, right? We can update that ourselves, right? Is that right?
Yeah, now that I'm going to refresh this page. So now you see, do you see this RRC verified?
Yeah.
Yeah, so any repeater that has a record custodian, it says RRC verified. So if you see that when you're browsing Repeaterbook, that means the repeater owner has claimed the record and reviewed it to make sure it's correct. So, oh, look, your Echo link is up now. It's in conference.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's working. So, yeah, now on update, you just you can click update and you go down to manage RRC, click on that, and that same screen you saw me doing, you now have access to at least the call signs that are in there, and can add or remove other custodians at will. So,
Okay.
yeah. So if I'm just while I'm in here, I'm going to just do that to this other repeater, just add and give that right to W8TOY, and then he can go in and add more people to that repeater. So there, we got that set up. So how that helps is over in the confidence rating. This is how we rate our admins to try to encourage them to keep the data updated. So yeah, we just went from 26% to 27% with those two repeaters with
Oh, great.
custodians. So that helps. And like I said, the average is about 40% on the site. About 40% of the repeaters are claimed. And this is a new program. We've only been doing it for about a year. But now if anybody made an update to the repeater, you would know. For example, KE8 CTP reported it on air, and you would get an email to let you know that he did that. Same N9EXR did that back in June. Also, they confirmed it was on air. So your data is nice and fresh for that.
Right.
If I refresh that one, there's the verified. Yeah. So if that helps with understanding where the data comes from, it comes from local users. It comes from repeater owners. So we don't work directly with Mark, but we'd like to. So
yeah, we owe them a couple updates now that you mention it. We got to update our data with them as well. They're our frequency coordination committee here in Michigan. Okay. How do you see you know, a number of us here in the club were new to AI, which I am one of them and am totally enamored by it. Do you see that? How do you see that playing in the Repeaterbook? Do you think that there's a place for it there, or what is your general feeling about it and how it'll affect the way the technology, such as database, things like this in the future?
yeah.
And can they see that? Can AI see this? Like this would be online and they have access to this database, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not really sure.
You can see my page here, right?
Yeah, we do. Okay. Chat GPT. Yeah. Oh, great. Great idea. Yeah.
Does that help?
Yeah. Look at that.
It's like what I say about it, analyzing our meeting. It is scary accurate.
But you got to be careful. It's it's accurate, and then you'll find something that, whoa, that's not quite right. So
I actually use ChatGPT to help me program advanced features
yeah.
that are beyond what I know how to do, and so it helps me with that. But I've researched what AI would. Well, I couldn't do AI because you have to have super high powered servers. You got to train it, and it's really expensive. But when that price comes down, for example, the way it would work is instead of these structured searches, that you're putting in, 25 miles around Detroit, clicking these boxes, you would just simply have a chat box and you would ask it, show me all the 2-meter FM repeaters somewhere, and it would just search my database and pull them out. So you're just asking it questions, and if it knows my data in and out, it would come back and just give you the answer. I don't know if you can do that now with, I don't think you could with ChatGPT. ChatGPT can give me a list of repeaters in. Well, it's going to do it. And it's getting it from all different places. And
Yeah,
none of it's Repeaterbook, by the way.
you have to put Detroit metropolitan area. But did you say this is out of Repeaterbook?
No, this looks like it's WR8DAR.org, GMARC.org. It's coming from all different places.
Oh, I see. So it's its own. Yeah, very impressive, I must say. Very. We see the GM Amateur Radio Club. I don't see the Hazel Park Amateur Radio Club on there. Oh, because it's Detroit. Yeah, if you do Detroit metropolitan area, we'll be there. In Southeast Michigan, we were actually refer to ourselves as.
Well, I told it I wanted repeaters out of the Detroit metro area from Repeaterbook, and so here it is. Pull them up, and you can see that it adds the status, the operational status, because we track that.
Yeah.
But this one it actually does. So yeah, I told it specifically. It limited itself to just a few repeaters, but yeah, it does work. I haven't tested it to see how much it knows of the website, but it's pretty good that it can do that.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right.
What I was trying to find, if you're curious about what some folks were curious about, is the percentages of repeaters that are digital now. How's digital coming along versus analog? So I'm seeing if I have this, being a database, I can track all that. Let's see, overall repeater statistics. Takes it a second to load.
I do have a question. We have on our repeater, it's called the DART, the Detroit Area Repeater Team, and we are indeed a team of people who keep the DART up and running. The DART is, if not the first, certainly the second repeater in the state of Michigan. It's been around a very long time. And my question is, it has a number of remote receive sites that will kind of fill in the dead spots around the shadow areas, and it has these receivers, and the receivers receive the signal on 161.640, but then they transfer it over to the main repeater site on a UHF auxiliary frequency. Are those auxiliary frequencies in the database here, or is it just repeaters themselves?
No, so if you had remote receivers, we would put the remote receivers into the notes. Because I think when you have shows multiple repeaters, it gets confusing. By auxiliary, you don't mean the linking channel, do you? Like on 220 or in 430?
I do. In other words, it receives on VHF 161.640, and then it just retransmits that on the UHF link, which we want to eventually digitize. We're just talking about that at breakfast Saturday morning, to digitize those links. And they are registered with MARC, the Michigan Coordination Council. But I was just curious, and if so, we're going to take a closer look at this offline and make sure all the everything is exactly the way it is, and so on. And so,
so you wouldn't want those auxiliary. You wouldn't want somebody.
We don't actually. We don't. And
right.
now I'm glad you. Yeah, you were thinking exactly alike. in the mark, there's a display feature and you can click on, it stays in the database, but does it display? Because you're right, we don't, because, you know, that could be potential interference. But although I have to say over the years, it it's been pretty reliable for the most part. You know, we have our ups and downs, but yeah, that's true. I was just curious whether you had them in the database or not.
Yeah, no, I like to say we're repeaterbook.com, and which means we focus on repeaters. But
Right,
I've been a repeater owner myself, and I was providing All-Star on 439, I can't remember, 975 for a while. And that's not a frequency we would want anybody to know about, but it was coordinated.
right.
But yeah, we wanted everybody to go to the repeater. So that wouldn't be, I would publish that we had All-Star, but I wouldn't publish any, control frequencies or link frequencies or anything like that.
I understand. So basically, Mark is the coordinator. They coordinate all the frequencies,
Yep.
and repeater book is just like a report. It just you don't do actual coordination. You just report it, right? Bring it all
Right.
in place. Got it. Got it. Okay. Good. Good.
Yeah. Yeah. And we note down here that it is coordinated. As far as we know, it's coordinated through.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. It
So
needs
that's
an
there. It
update.
has a link back to the MyArc website. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. I was going to let you know about one feature that we just launched. In case this is interesting to anybody, it's called Repeaterbook Connect. And I'm just going to bring up that page here. And I need to take the coming soon away because we just launched this at Hamcation. So I'm going to make the screen a little bit bigger. So hopefully everybody can see it okay. What it is if you have the app, and right now it works on Android, later this year it'll work on Apple. But when you bring up the Repeaterbook app and you have your list of repeaters, if you have one of these radios, you can touch the screen with that repeater. It'll transfer that repeater's frequency, PL, and offset to your radio. At Hamcation, we were showing the ICOM ID5100 with Bluetooth. I do own a Kenwood D74 and ID52 handheld. We made it work with those along with all these other radios, including what we were showing off at Hamcation was an ICOM 7100. And we have a device called a Blue Cat that you can plug into the back of the radio, and it gives the ICOM 7100 Bluetooth capability. Or at about $10 in USB parts, you can plug in your Android phone or tablet to the 7100 and do the same thing. So I have a Yaesu FT991A, and I don't program repeaters into it, but I can use it. And so it's easier for me to just use the app and touch the repeater I want to use. It'll send that to the FT991A, and then all I have to do is key the mic. Everything about that repeater that I need to key it up is there. So that's a little feature that just came out with the app that we want to let everybody know about. And there are a couple YouTube videos that you can watch to see it actually work. And it's a pretty cool thing. I kind of think the best use case is if you're out of your home area, you're traveling, maybe somebody's headed down to Hamvention, and instead of trying to research the repeaters along the way before you go there, you just bring up the app, and the app automatically scrolls to the closest repeater to the top. So as you move, you'll see that repeater list change as you're driving, and you just would touch the repeater you want, and your mobile radio would be set to it. And as you're traveling down to Xenia or Dayton or that area, make it a little bit safer to operate your radio and find repeaters as you're driving. And we're looking at making it where the app could actually scan your radio, a list of like the 10 or 15 closest repeaters, so you could hopefully quickly find activity as you were mobile. So brand new thing we did. And then we're also we have this new route search that we're doing. Let me just course, I did that wrong. Let's search. Oh, I know why. Nope, that's not it. Give me just a second. Repeaters. I had that URL memorized just fine at Hamvention or Hamcation, but now I can't remember. I had it right here. Route search. .php should come right up. Repeaterbook.com. Oh, because I typoed repeaters. Okay, so if you were headed from Detroit to Dayton, Ohio, you had 2 meters, 70 centimeters, maybe FM and DMR. You could find repeaters. And what it just did was it searched for repeaters along the route. And I think it's about 25 miles either side of the route. Not a whole lot of repeaters down through central Ohio, or I guess that's not central Ohio, that's North Ohio through here. But the repeaters, it came up with these repeaters, and they're all colored coded here, green. Little pin is DMR, which came up with only one in Detroit, looks like, but nothing down the way. But plenty of FM, Yaesu System Fusion repeaters, another, 2 in Detroit, 2 DMR. So what that would do is you could take that and program your radio ahead of time with these repeaters. So it's basically searching along a route. There's another one, Mansfield. So maybe would be something that I don't know what that did on your screen.
Yeah, definitely.
But a little helpful search. Okay, any questions?
Okay. Wow, that is truly amazing and eye-opening for us. Are there any questions out there for Garrett? If not,
I know I sure did not know about a lot of these features, and I use Repeaterbook, I thought.
yeah, this was fabulous, Garrett. This is really great, and we're all going to take a closer look. We're going to get ourselves updated. We got to get our paperwork also up to mark. By the way, we're a little bit delinquent on that, but we'll get that updated. And really thank you again for taking time to speak with us, and welcome home. And and so we'll be in touch, and we'll communicate with you, and we'll get everything all updated.
All right. If anybody comes down to Hamvention, come see me. Let me know that remind me that what club you're with, and I'll give you a Repeaterbook pin. We don't give them out to everybody, but anybody from your club that comes down, I'll give you a Repeaterbook pin. So,
that'd be fabulous. That'll be fabulous. All right. Well, Garrett, thank you very much. You're welcome to stay with us if you want. But we're going to go on to some club business. And again, I heard a Repeaterbook, didn't know what it was, but it is definitely a force to be reckoned with here. Really, that's terrific. And I love that tracking application there that you got there. So very good. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for letting me come present to your club. Thank you.
You bet. And thanks for
Thanks,
being
Garrett.
73. All right. Let me take my screen back here. Will somebody please tell me you see my screen? I think I'm sharing.
Yeah, we
right?
see
Yes, feature presentation
see
is
it.
what's on the screen.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay. We're pushing all the right buttons today. That's important. Well, who knew? I mean, that was